Okay, so I'm gonna fold up our hoodie that I'm gonna make a quick improvised splint with, especially out on the trail with some of the stuff that I carry in my day pack. So I sacrificed my hoodie here, and I just wanna fold it in a way that strengthens it and keeps it relatively the right length for my daughter's arm. So fold or roll. This kind of material, this shiny sort of down puffy material, it's not ideal because it slides, but it will work. And I just stuck a stick in there because most people believe that you have to have a stick. You don't have to have a stick. This would be strong enough without it, but it's just a nice option. So when people hurt themselves, typically we'll pretend here, look, there, it's broken. So typically when they're hurt, they're guarding and they're nursing their own injury. So Morgan would be holding her arm and supporting her wrist. So I like the idea of trying to get the pillow down on her lap and let her put her arm down onto that. And if I have to help her, then so be it. So remember, hold that please. No, just hold everything. So remember that people are hurt when this is real. In training, they're never hurt. So we have no element of pain or loss of structure to the injury itself. So all of this is just make-believe. Generally, there's some things in splinting that you need to know about the components and how to build a splint, not what it will look like in the end. I know I need a base, and I know that I need stuffing. So I need to take stuffing, Bailey can come in, take stuffing and put it into the wrist and into any curvature that there might be in a fracture. So the palm of the hand and the wrist are usually ones, and if this was an S-shaped fracture, we'd have to use more. And that's where the stuffing comes in. So I usually give it to the person, and Morgan, you're gonna stuff that into there very carefully because hurt people will be in pain for that. Okay, so they would want to stuff things into their curves within their pain tolerance, and you might have to help them, and this would take some time. Okay, so hold it there. I will typically start with gauze and always at the hand. So basically the person has to help me a bit. So we have to lift up underneath. So that's where a little bit of help would help. And this is where you're gonna find the most amount of pain. One reason why we started the wrist is so that we can get it contained quickly and supported so that she can lift her arm up a bit more to help me afterwards. Obviously, if this was real, we'd be talking a lot more about her pain and taking our time. But for the sake of this, just showing you that this is pretty quick to do if it was cold out and we had to get going. On the trail, there is a little bit of you have to suck it up. And so I can appreciate that someone might be in pain, but we have to get back to the car and she will be walking. So there's first layer. My advice, if you have the stuff, do a second layer. A second layer will firm up anything that's going on that's loose. Fill in any gaps. Notice that she can't really wiggle her fingers. She could if she wanted to, but she's in pain. Check in with her. Morgan, how does that feel? Is it tight enough? Is it too tight?
That's pretty good.
Okay. You don't want it to be too loose or it won't be supportive. So the end of the goal of this, essentially, because I have the right material, is I'm trying to make a homemade cast. And that's kind of my goal. You don't need tape. Just tuck things in. Sometimes they fall apart. Oh well. Okay. Now, this could be enough. If you want added strength because you have a long walk back to the car, you're going to use a tensor, and that honestly will strengthen everything up. Just make sure that you don't go too tight, that you go just snug enough, and you can always adjust it. If she complains later on and I have to adjust it, at least the gauze roll's in place to hold the broken arm against your splint. So again, working with them to see how firm you want to do that up. Trying not to have too many hot spots that are crinkled or loose. Just a nice wrap over that arm. And that is why 2 gauze rolls and a tensor bandage go a long way in helping you do first aid out on the trail. There. So that is our trail side improvised splint. Thank you. High five. Oh, I thought you'd do with that.